We got to be willing to embrace the unknown. Now, what do I mean by that? Our whole lives, if you live in, a first world country or North America or I don't know, the UK, Australia, like first world countries, this is how your life will usually go. You're born, okay, you're raised a little bit, right? And then you go to school. And after school, you probably go to university, most likely. And then after university, you get a degree, try to find a job. You work that job until you're for like 40 years. You retire with your pension or whatever the case may be. And then, you live the rest of your life and then you're done. That is how most, that is how we live our lives for the most part, right? So when I say you must be willing to embrace the unknown, it's because our whole lives we've been given a schedule of certainty. Okay, perfect. Yes, I go to school, I get good grades, perfect. I can go to a good university, awesome. Okay, perfect. I get my degree, great. Oh, I will search for a job. Oh, perfect. I got a job, awesome. Climb the ladder of the corporate ladder of the job, or whatever the case may be. And then that, invest or save enough money to one day retire when you're like in 65 range or something, and then you have a pension or 401k or whatever the case may be, live out the rest of your life, and then you're done. So we've been given a schedule, an exact way of living to every single one of us. That is that is what our parents did, that is what our friends do, that is what our peers do, that is what everyone does, right? So now our minds have been programmed and trained to follow that exact schedule. We've been taught that that is how you live. Personally, I'm 22 years old. My mother has always told me, go to school, go to university, get a job, that's it. And then work the rest of your life until however old you are, retire, and then that's it. That is what my mom taught me, right? But like, are you are you really living? Yes, I'm not saying that you can't find joy in living a life like that. Yes, you can. Everyone is different. But now, today in 2025, when your money is worth nothing, everything seems to be getting more expensive when nothing has changed. Apples back in the day were maybe what? For a dozen apples, maybe $1 back in the day. It doesn't A dozen apples today are $7. Have the apples changed or gotten any better or tasted any better? No. The value of your money has been diluted to crap. I have Canadian dollars, so I'm in Canada. I have Canadian dollars. I just went to the United States last month. The value of the Canadian dollar is so bad. It's bad. It's not good. It's not in a good state. Now the value of your money is becoming worse and worse and worse, but people are still living in the same way. Wages have not gone up. Jobs have not improved. Um, Living wages have everything's getting more expensive now. So how do you expect me to live the way people did 40 years ago in the 80s and the 70s and the 90s in 2025 when everything's getting worse? How? How is that even possible? People can't even afford homes anymore. People can't afford rent. People can't afford food. People can't afford basic necessities. But yet, we're still told to live the exact same way when things are getting more expensive. How does that make any sense? So that is why, when I say these things, I'm also living this out with you guys as well. This is just how I think and how I move and how I want to move. We have to save ourselves, man. We've been given an exact schedule from the day we're born all the way to the day we die. How is that life? Life is about experiences, learning, trying new things, failing, trying again. That's what life is about. That's why I say we have to embrace the unknown. Because through the unknown, through what is on the other side is where your dream life relies. That is where your dream life relies, whatever that dream life is for you. Whether it's, I don't know, you want to have 5 Lamborghinis and a mansion, sure. Or you were trying to keep it simple, have a family, being able to afford everything that you want or everything that you need for you and your family and live a comfortable life. That could be your dream life. Anything. But the only way to get there in this day and age is through embracing the unknown. You have to be willing to take a chance. You have to be willing to take a risk, and you have to be willing to put in the work. That is the only way. That is the only way. Even universities now, if you're not a specialist, even universities now are not working. If you're not a specialist, meaning you want to be a doctor or lawyer, something where you need school, they are failing people my age right now. People my age can't even find jobs after 4 years of university. And you're telling me you still want to live the same way that you've been taught your whole life? Take that chance. Take that risk. Try something new. Be uncomfortable. That is the only way you will find, first of all, that is the way you're going to find who you really are. Because right now you are living someone else's ideologies, and right now you're living to someone else's expectations. But through the unknown is where you find out who you truly are. What are you really capable of? It's through the unknown. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because we are programmed in a way that we want absolute certainty, but nothing in life is certain. Nothing in life is certain. Nothing. Take that risk.